Well, speaking of sitting down with us, presidential candidate, we're joined in the studio by Green Party presidential candidate, Dr. Jill Stein. She, of course, is a mother, a physician, and environmental health advocate representing the Green Party in 2012, but also this year. She holds the record for the most votes ever received by a woman candidate for president in the general election. She joins us right now. And so, Dr. Stein, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be here.
So I'm going to start right there on this whole issue of voting. The fact of the matter is you see massive voter suppression going on in North Carolina, where literally Republicans are trying to change the vote. They're trying to slash early voting, switch the hours. What is your stance on the issue of the Voting Rights Act in this country?
We need to restore the full Voting Rights Act. Since it was repealed, we've seen in state after state voter ID laws that are used to disenfranchise the African American vote. We've seen, closing of voting stations, a repeal of early voting, the things that make it harder for African Americans in particular to vote. And that vote is absolutely critical. In America, we have a right to vote. We need to restore the full Voting Rights Act. Absolutely.
When it comes to voting, this is what I've consistently heard from people. They say they don't like Trump, they don't like Clinton, or they say, I don't like Trump, but I like some things about Clinton, don't like others. And then when the conversation goes back and forth on social media, vote for Dr. Jill Stein, then others will say that's a wasted vote. Why voting for you? Make the argument why voting for you is not a wasted vote.
Well, I think we're at a unique moment in history right now. Our economy is stuck. We've seen jobs that have come back that are part-time, low-wage, temporary jobs, incredible racial disparities in our economy where the unemployment rate is twice as high among African Americans. Who got hit harder in the Wall Street crash? The average wealth of the African American family was slashed, was cut in half, and it was unjustly small to start with because of the cumulative burden of historic racism that has diminished and made it almost impossible for the African American community to accumulate wealth. We have an entire generation of young people who are locked into student loan debt without the ability to earn their way out of it. I'm the one candidate in this race that is not taking money from lobbyists, from big corporations, or from super PACs. So I actually have the liberty to stand up for what it is that we really need, and African Americans in particular really need as the most disenfranchised group in our society. We need an emergency jobs program that guarantees a good wage job to everyone, like the New Deal. We're calling for a Green New Deal, which will not only fix the crisis of our jobs, but will also fix the crisis of climate change. And as we saw happening down in Baton Rouge, like with Katrina, like in Superstorm Sandy, who is it that gets hit hardest, and where is it that recovery comes last? I was just down in Baton Rouge where we saw families in shelters who were there displaced from Katrina that had never been able to go back to New Orleans because of the disparities in the recovery. We have a system that's working for you if you're in the top couple percent, but for everyday Americans, it's not working. So I'm here with the liberty to stand up for what everyday people need, and especially for what the African American community needs. And that's not only jobs, it's free higher education, it's health care as a human right. We could all be insured right now for the same cost that we're paying. We could cover everyone if we just take out the profiteering and the price gouging that's taking place right now and ensure that everyone has a right to good health care. And I'll tell you one other thing. I'm the only candidate that's actually calling for reparations and for a Truth and Reconciliation Commission so we can get down to the bottom of this living historic legacy left over from the criminal institution of racism.
Hold tight one second. When we come back, I want to deal with the issue of education. So hold on, we're talking with Green Party presidential candidate Dr. Jill Stein right here on NewsOne Now TV 1.
Kickstart your day at 7 and get the news you need from the perspective you want. NewsOne Now with Roland Martin, every weekday morning at 7 on TV 1.